When you're old and alone, do this every day to stay happy and avoid loneliness. Senior advice. Hey there, my friends. Welcome back to the channel. I'm so happy you're here with me today. If you're new around here, this is a place where we talk about living well, staying healthy, and finding joy, especially as we get into our middle and later years. I'm thrilled to have you join us. Today, we're diving into something that I know a lot of you might be feeling. When you're old and alone, do this every day to stay happy and avoid loneliness. I've spent years working with folks just like you, wonderful people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond. And I've seen how life can shift as we age. Maybe your kids have grown up and moved away. Maybe you've lost a partner or dear friends, or maybe you're just finding yourself with more quiet time than you're used to. And you know what? It's completely okay to feel a little lonely sometimes. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It just means you're human. But here's the beautiful part. You don't have to let loneliness define your days. There are simple, everyday things you can do to keep your heart full and your spirits high, even when you're on your own. So, imagine we're sitting down together right now, maybe in your cozy living room with a cup of tea or coffee in hand, and I'm sharing some tips that I've seen work wonders for people just like you. These aren't big, overwhelming changes. They're small, manageable steps you can start doing today to bring more happiness into your life. Whether you're 55 or 85, whether you live in a bustling city or quiet countryside, this is for you. By the end of this video, you'll have a handful of ideas to try out, things that can help you feel less alone and more connected to the joy of living. So let's get started, shall we? All right, let's jump right in. When you're older and spending more time by yourself, it's easy to feel like the days are long and empty. The house might feel too quiet, or maybe you catch yourself wondering, what's the point of getting up today? I've heard this from so many people over the years, and I want you to know you're not alone in feeling this way. But here's the good news. Happiness is something you can create even in the smallest ways. I'm going to share some daily habits with you. Things you can do every single day to stay happy and keep loneliness at bay. These are practical, down-to-earth ideas, and I'll sprinkle in some stories to show you how they work for others. Let's get started. 1. Begin your day with a small, joyful ritual. One of the best ways to fight loneliness is to give yourself a reason to get out of bed each morning. Now, I'm not talking about anything huge or complicated. I mean a small, joyful ritual that makes you feel good. Maybe it's brewing a cup of your favorite coffee and sitting by the window to watch the sunrise. Or maybe it's putting on a song you love, like some classic Frank Sinatra or the Beatles, and humming along while you make breakfast. I remember a dear friend of mine, George, who's 72 and lives alone in a small apartment in Chicago. He told me he used to struggle with mornings after his wife passed away. The silence was too much. So I suggested he start his day with something just for him. He decided to make a little ritual of feeding the birds in his backyard every morning. He'd put out some seeds, sit with his coffee, and watch the sparrows flutter in. He told me, it's such a small thing, but it gives me a reason to get up, and I feel like I'm starting my day with friends. That's the magic of a morning ritual. So, tomorrow morning, think of one tiny thing that brings you joy. Start there. It'll set the tone for your whole day. 2. Get moving, even if it's just a little bit. I know, when you hear get moving, you might be thinking, oh, here comes the exercise talk. But I promise, this isn't about running a marathon or lifting weights. Moving your body, even just a little, can do wonders for your mood. When you move, your body releases endorphins, those natural chemicals that make you feel happier and more alive. You don't need a gym or fancy equipment. A 10-minute walk around your neighborhood can be enough. Or try some gentle stretches while you're watching your favorite TV show. If you're up for it, put on some music and dance around your living room. I won't tell anyone. My friend Mary, who's 68 and lives in a small town in England, swears by this. She told me, I put on some old ABBA songs and I dance like nobody's watching. For those few minutes, I forget I'm alone. I'm just having fun. Movement doesn't have to be hard. It just has to make you feel good. So, every day, find a way to move a little. Your body will thank you and your heart will too. 3. Reach out and connect with someone. Loneliness often comes from feeling disconnected. But here's the thing. You don't need a big social circle to change that. Even one small connection a day can make a huge difference. It could be calling a family member, chatting with a neighbor, or even saying hello to the barista at your local coffee shop. I'll never forget a story from a woman I know named Helen, who's 70 and lives alone in Seattle. She used to feel so isolated after her kids moved across the country. I encouraged her to make one small connection every day. She started by smiling and saying hi to the mail carrier. Over time, they started chatting about the weather, then about their favorite books. Now, they're friends, and Helen says those little talks give her something to look forward to. It's not about forcing deep relationships. It's about opening the door to human connection. So, today, reach out to someone. It could be a quick phone call to an old friend or a kind word to a stranger. You'll be amazed at how much it lifts your spirits. 4. Fill your mind with something uplifting. When you're alone a lot, your thoughts can sometimes take over, and not always in a good way. Maybe you find yourself worrying about the past or getting stressed by the news. I've seen this with so many people, and it can really weigh you down. That's why I always suggest filling your mind with something uplifting every day. It could be listening to a podcast that inspires you, something like Oprah's Super Soul Conversations or a lighthearted storytelling show. Or maybe you'd enjoy reading a book of quotes or poetry. I had a friend named Robert, who's 75, and he started reading a poem every morning after his wife passed away. He told me, "I found this line by Robert Frost. The best way out is always through, and it reminded me to keep going, even on the hard days." Feeding your mind with positive words or stories can shift your whole outlook. So, every day, find something uplifting to focus on. It's like giving your soul a little sunshine. 5. Do something creative, even if it's small. Here's something I've learned over the years. Creativity is a powerful antidote to loneliness. When you create something, you remind yourself that you have something to offer, even if it's just for you. It doesn't have to be a masterpiece. Maybe you try a new recipe for dinner, like a hearty soup or a batch of cookies. Or maybe you pick up a hobby like knitting, painting, or even writing a short letter to someone you care about. Take my friend Susan, for example. She's 66 and felt so lost after retiring from her teaching job. She told me, "I felt like I had nothing left to give." I suggested she try something creative, even if it was small. She started growing a little herb garden on her windowsill, some basil and rosemary. She'd tend to it every day, and soon she would share her herbs with her neighbors. She said, "It's not just about the plants. It's about feeling like I'm still growing, too." Creativity gives you a sense of purpose. So, every day, try to make something. It could be as simple as arranging some flowers in a vase. You'll feel the joy it brings. 6. Practice gratitude. Find the good in your day. Let's talk about gratitude for a moment. I know it might sound a bit cliche, but hear me out. It's one of the most powerful tools to fight loneliness. When you're alone, it's easy to focus on what's missing. The people, the noise, the busyness of the past. But gratitude helps you see what's still here, right in front of you. Here's a simple habit. Every day, name 3 things you're thankful for. They don't have to be big. Maybe it's the way the sunlight streams through your window, the taste of your morning tea, or the sound of birds outside. My friend David, who's 71, started doing this after a tough year. He'd lost his best friend, and the loneliness was overwhelming. He told me, "At first, I didn't think I had anything to be grateful for, but then I started noticing little things, like my comfy armchair, the smell of rain, a kind word from my neighbor. It didn't erase the pain, but it made the days softer. Gratitude is like a warm blanket for your heart. So try today. What are 3 things you're thankful for right now? Say them out loud or write them down. It'll shift your perspective. I promise. 7. Be kind to yourself. You deserve it. This one's really important. When you're alone a lot, it's easy to let yourself go. Maybe you skip meals, stay in your pajamas all day, or even talk to yourself in a way you'd never talk to a friend. But I want you to start treating yourself with the same kindness you'd give to someone you love. Make yourself a nice meal, even if it's just for you. Put on a clean shirt that makes you feel good. Look in the mirror and say something kind, like, I'm doing my best, and that's enough. I had a friend named Betty who's 69, and she used to say, why bother cooking for just me? But one day, she decided to set the table for herself, complete with a candle and her favorite plate. She told me, I felt a little silly at first, but then I thought, I'm worth this. And I am. You are, too. So, every day, do one kind thing for yourself. You deserve to feel cared for, even if it's just by you. 8. Reflect on your day before bed. Let's end each day with a little reflection. Before you go to sleep, take a few minutes to think about your day. Ask yourself, what went well today? What made me smile? It's a gentle way to close out the day and remind yourself that there's still good in your life, even in the quiet moments. My friend James, who's 73, started doing this after he moved into a senior apartment and felt lonely without his old neighborhood. He'd sit with a notebook and write down one good thing from his day, like a funny moment on a TV show or a kind word from a neighbor. He told me, it's like giving myself a little pat on the back before I sleep. It helps me end the day on a good note. Try it tonight. Think of one thing that brought you joy today. It's a small habit, but it can make a big difference. 9. Find comfort in routine. Routines can be a lifesaver when you're feeling lonely. They give your day structure and something to look forward to. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just a few things you do regularly that make you feel grounded. Maybe you have your morning coffee at the same time each day. Take a walk in the afternoon or watch a favorite show in the evening. I knew a man named Arthur who's 80 and lives alone in London. After his wife passed, he felt like his days had no shape. So he created a simple routine. Every morning, he'd read the newspaper with his tea, then take a short walk to the park, and in the evening, he'd call his daughter. He told me, having that routine makes me feel like I've got a plan. It keeps me going. So, think about your day. What's one small routine you can build? It'll give you a sense of stability and comfort. 10. Lean on your memories. They're a treasure. Finally, don't be afraid to lean on your memories. As we get older, we have a lifetime of experiences to look back on, and those memories can be a source of comfort and joy. Maybe you pull out an old photo album and smile at pictures of your kids when they were little. Or maybe you think about a special trip you took, like that summer you spent at the beach with your family. My friend Dorothy, who's 77, keeps a box of old letters from her husband. She told me, on days when I feel really alone, I read one of those letters. It's like he's right there with me, and it reminds me of all the love we shared. Your memories are a treasure. Don't let them gather dust. Every day, take a moment to think of a happy memory. It'll warm your heart and remind you of the beautiful life you've lived. Well, there you have it, my friends. 10 simple things you can do every day to stay happy and keep loneliness at bay, even when you're old and alone. Let's recap. Start your day with a joyful ritual. Get moving a little. Connect with someone. Fill your mind with uplifting things. Get creative. Practice gratitude. Be kind to yourself. Reflect on your day. Build a routine and lean on your memories. These aren't big, impossible tasks. They're small steps you can take right now, wherever you are. I've seen these habits work for so many people. Folks just like you who are navigating the same quiet moments. And I want you to know something. You're stronger than you think. You've lived a life full of wisdom, love, and experiences, and you still have so much to give, even if it's just to yourself. These daily practices are like little hugs you can give yourself. They'll keep you grounded and remind you that joy is still possible, even in the smallest ways. Before I go, let me leave you with a quote I love from the poet Maya Angelou. You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. Loneliness might be part of your story right now, but it doesn't have to define you. You have the power to choose happiness, one day at a time. So, pick one of these ideas and try it tomorrow. See how it feels. And if you like, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear what works for you, or even just to say hi. You're part of this community, and I'm so grateful for you. Thanks for spending this time with me today. If you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and share it with someone who might need a little encouragement. Until next time, take care of yourself. You're worth it. See you soon.